What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, with the new different kind of get up. Go ahead and hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Doing something a little different this time around. Doing a little NBA. Doing a little NBA. Oh, you see my 29-74 with Curry, and you got my 76ers and stuff. Them the kind of the teams I'm kind of pulled for. So I got my NBA gear on, but yeah, it's a NBA. Usually I'm college football. I'm University of Alabama, and I'm usually Dallas Cowboys and the NFL and that sort of stuff. But this is my first venue off into the NBA, and as you used to say, the NBA is fantastic. Now, as of today at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, NBA trade deadline went down, and man, a lot of stuff took place today. You're an NBA fan, which I'm an NBA fan, and I got a passion for the NBA and for the games and the storylines and that sort of stuff. And so anyway, just kind of get into it and just give you the particulars, but then we're going to get to the one you really want to talk about, and I'm going to give you my take on it, and we're going to do that. And also the lineups for the All-Star game, which is in 2 weeks. It's a week from this coming Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. I know the All-Star game people don't get, but I like that they got the captains picking the teams instead of just, this is the East, this is the West. So I like, we'll get into that too. But anyway, traded today, 76ers and the Nets. Big time trade. Sixers, 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers, one of my teams. Okay, see, I'm repping Sixers right there. It's a story behind that. I'll get into the stuff in a minute. There's a story behind that, and this is to give you a little history behind Uncle Fred and his thought process and how he. It's a certain thought process and the things that come together that comes to, and I want you sometimes to ask yourself, whatever team or player, as as an old schooler, I don't player fan, I'm a team fan, so I won't get into the player fan thing because that means you're rooting for different teams and different teams here, different teams there, that sort of thing. But anyway, you might want to ask yourself when you're a fan of a team, how did you end up becoming a fan of that particular team? Okay. And, and for me, it's pretty simple. As a young buck, I kind of started watching sports to understand what it was about the age, 11, I guess. I was a little late bloomer. My parents weren't really sports people. So, I would hear about it at school. Guys would be talking about, oh, man, such and such did this, man. Such and such caught this touchdown pass and stuff like that. I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? I would see football and basketball and stuff on at home, and I'm 8, 9, 10. And then we want to watch something else, whatever. So I started listening and stuff and to the kids and stuff. And so to be one of the in kids, I was like, well, let me see what they're talking about. So for me to start to understand what was going on in the sporting world came about in the time of like 77. And let me tell you what happened in 70s, and then we're going to get on to these trades. 1977, the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl versus the Denver Broncos, won it 27-10. Okay. First Super Bowl that I ever watched. And I saw the Cowboys had such a flair about them that I said, man, look at how, and I'll never forget, it was a Butch Johnson catch in the end zone, a diving catch. He caught it between his hands like that. He fell in the end zone. Actually, he laid the ball on the ground when he came up. That wouldn't be a catch today, but we're not going to talk about that. In basketball, the Philadelphia 76ers were playing the Portland Trail Blazers. And I mean, I watched some of it, but you really couldn't watch the NBA like you could now because I'll let you in on a little secret. Back in those days, the finals were on something called tape delay, which means if it was a late game, you wouldn't see it until after the game was over, after the news went off, and they would show it to you. The NBA didn't have nowhere near the cachet that it has today. I mean, the NBA has its own network. Okay, I mean, you see it on ABC, and we watched the game on last Saturday on ABC. I think it was the Lakers and the Knicks, and then we've got a big one this coming Saturday. My Warriors against the Lakers. Big time game. And then they got some stuff on ESPN and other networks and stuff. So it's all over. But back then, and back in the day, in 76, 77. All everybody talked about in the NBA was Julius Dr. J. Erving. And so I became a fan of the 76ers because of Julius Erving. Okay. Julius Erving was special, man. I mean, he just was. So the Julius Erving and the Sixers, even though they lost that series 4-2, and whatever, but Doc had such a flair, man. He would take off from the free throw line and double pump that thing, and he would do that, and he was just great, man. You just couldn't stop the guy, man. He was just phenomenal. Hey, his hands were so big they almost encompassed the whole basketball. So he would go up and take the ball, and he would bring it down and come back up on the other side with it. His hands were so big, and he could make that little spin and it would come off the glass and come in. I mean, Doc was special, man. Go YouTube Doc, man. Doc was special. Now, I know everybody's athletic now and stuff, but back in those days, what he was doing, nobody else wasn't doing that stuff like him. So that's how I became a fan of the 76ers. And then, of course, in baseball, the same year, 1977, New York Yankees won the World Series, and Reggie Jackson was like my favorite player because he had three home runs in the World Series, and I became a Yankee fan. So you got the Cowboys, you got the Sixers, and you got the New York Yankees. Teams from all different parts of the world, because I live in a region that don't have professional sports. So that's how I became a fan. Now, how I became a fan of these boys right here, I happened to go to a game back in 2015 in a nearby city in Memphis, actually, at the FedEx Arena. And I actually was rooting against them. I was rooting for the Memphis Grizzlies. And and then throughout the game, there were the fans and stuff. They were doing what they was doing, and and everybody in the game in the gym was talking about stop Curry. I was a fan that was jeering from the section next to me. Stop Curry! Stop that Curry! And I was like, I didn't think nothing much of him. I remember I'd seen him play, and I didn't think, little light skinned, little skinny, little big headed, lollipop looking head dude. I mean, he all right, a little wispy and skinny. Okay, whatever. So I was pulling for Memphis. Memphis at the time, it's grit and grind. They get after guys and defend, get after you, defend you, and all that sort of stuff. And so, I can't remember what the dude's name is. One of the best defenders in the NBA played for the Memphis Grizzlies. It'll come to me in a minute. But get on Curry. Shoot, man, I watched that game and I'm sitting there I'm like, will y'all get that dude? And I saw that dude cross guys up, step back, hit threes, go to the hole, get the shot, get fouled. And I'm like, this little skinny dude is dogging y'all. Will y'all get on him? And so I watched him, and by the time the game ended, ended the third quarter, dude had 38 points and 10 assists and sat for the full quarter. And I watched him. I said, man, that little fella kind of all right. So I started watching them the rest of the season. I said, okay, let me see how good they are. And I watched them in the playoffs. I saw play them same Memphis Grizzlies. And Memphis going to get them this time. Steph said, no, I got this. I'm getting them. I'm like, okay. They played Houston, I think. No, they played New Orleans. Then they played Memphis. And then I think they played Houston, I think, to go to the finals and stuff. And then they played LeBron and won. And I'm like, oh, okay, that ain't kind of all right. And so I kind of, started kind of liking the way, and it really what it was is I like the style that they played the game with the pass and the cut and the screening and all that sort of stuff. So that's how I became fans of different. This is like my modern day team, but these are the ones that I rose with right here. So anyway, so that was a trade today. And 76ers traded Ben Simmons, the much maligned Ben Simmons, to the Brooklyn Nets for James Harden and Paul Millsap. And the Nets also received Seth Curry, which is his little brother, and Andre Drummond. And the Nets also received the 2022 and the 2027, I think, a protected and a non-protected draft first-round picks. So they got a nice haul for them, okay, for those guys. And the 76ers pick up James Harden, Paul Millsap. We'll get back to that in a minute. Now, the other trades, I'm just going to kind of brief through that, and we're going to come back to this, and I'm just going to tell you my take, and we're going to be done. All right, other trades, the Washington Wizards picked up Kristaps Porzingis, big, tall guy. Used to be with the New York Knicks back in the day when they drafted first-round pick, and then he got traded to the Dallas Mavericks and stuff like that, and so he ended up there. He's like 7'3", I think. Nice three-point shooter. He has a nice stroke. Not real good inside, but he's a Euro. He's about 7'3", probably about 220 pounds. Shoulders about that narrow, but he can play. So the Wizards got him, but we do know that, and I'm not trying to get into too much detail, we do know that Bradley Beal has got a wrist injury, I believe, and he's out for the season. So they needed some scoring and things of that nature. But the Mavericks get Spencer Dinwiddie. Don't know how that's going to work out with Luka Doncic, but we'll see. He's a scorer. He can score and he can handle the ball, but we know in that offense, Luka handles the ball a lot, and that one ball handler, dominant, high pick and roll kind of thing, what they do. And they also got Davis Bertans, okay? Nice, big, tall shooting like a stretch four. He can shoot the lights out for the three. So we also know that Tim Hardaway is possibly out. Junior is possibly out for the rest of the season. So they needed that outside shooting. So when Luka penetrates, he has guys. He has Dorian Finney-Smith, and I think his name is Krager. Is it Krager? The other Euro big guy. And of course they have Brunson as point guard also, who can hit an occasional three. So that's going to be interesting too. So they got Bertans and Spencer Dinwiddie. Then the Kings, Bucks, Clippers, and Pistons involved themselves in a 4-team trade where the Kings picked up Dante DiVincenzo. One of the college teams I kind of like is Villanova. Villanova won a couple of championships, I think in 2018 and 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. And DiVincenzo's on those teams. There's a bunch of those guys in the NBA. Villanova is known for putting what I call nice glue guys in the NBA. They're not going to be stars, but they always seem to stick on teams because they do all the little fundamental things. They play defense, they play good team ball, and they do all the little extra effort things. So you look at DiVincenzo, you look at Josh Hart, who got traded the other day, but he's a good player too. Eric Pascal, Mikal Bridges, Archidiakono. And there's a bunch of guys, and they all seem to stick. You never see them go to the G League. They always come in and be able to contribute to a team right away. But anyway, he was with the Bucks, won a championship last year. He was hurt a good bit of last year, but the Kings get him. That's kind of like purgatory because the Kings, I guess the Kings are trying to build something because they've been perennial losers ever since the Chris Webber era. Okay. And they've tried that. And they got De'Aaron Fox, who's a baller. Okay, love De'Aaron Fox, and so you got De'Aaron Fox and everything. But they got rid of my man Halliburton in the trade before, which is one of the lead up to trades. I think he went to the Indiana Pacers, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And so the Kings get Dante DiVincenzo, and Kings also get Trey Lyles from Detroit. Big, like a 6'10", kind of a outside shooter, kind of the tweener. He can post up and he can shoot outside. He's kind of played at Kentucky. And then the Bucks pick up Serge Ibaka. The Bucks got the most formidable front line in the NBA. I'm telling you, Serge Ibaka is going to fit in right well. When Giannis goes to the bench, Serge Ibaka, I know he had his back injuries from last year when he was with the Clippers, didn't really get to play for the Clippers for real. So the Clippers kind of gave up on him, I guess, but a supreme a shot blocker, can hit a 15 to 18, an occasional three. But he's a menace on defense, and that front line with him, Giannis and Bobby Portis, gonna be tough to get past them out of the East. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And they also pick up 2 second-round picks and some cash. Okay, and the Clippers pick up Rodney Hood and some dude named Semi Ojulier. Don't know who that guy is. So that's the 3-team trade there. Kings also get Josh Jackson. Okay. Then the Pistons pick up Marvin Bagley Jr. From the Kings. Okay. So Marvin Bagley Jr., he played at Duke, like 6'8", 6'9", kind of been underwhelming. Kings had a lot of top draft picks. A lot of guys kind of came and went, and he's one of those guys. And but they got De'Aaron Fox, and so they're gonna really kind of build around him and his playmaking ability, and Harrison Barnes, and some of those guys, and a man that they got from Baylor. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But he won national championship with Baylor, like their best player. They got him, and so they on the up and up and whatever. So we'll see what happens with them. Then there's a trade between the Hornets and the Washington Wizards again. So in addition to picking up Kristaps Porzingis, they also pick up Vernon Corey and Casey, and Ish Smith. The Hornets pick up Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell, who was traded to the Washington Wizards from the Los Angeles Lakers, in addition to KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and also Kyle Kuzma. So they, and they did for Russell Westbrook. So that Russell Westbrook trade still kind of resonating, and so that's a pretty interesting trade there. Okay, all right, but the NBA ain't through. There's more stuff coming. So the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors, they pick up veteran small forward Thaddeus Young, who's playing for the Spurs, but kind of just sitting on the bench. Thaddeus Young can still play. I think he's a career like 15, 16 point per game scorer, shoots about 48% from the field, plays good defense, good fundamentally, but Spurs were in a rebuild mode. I think they picked him up from the Bulls like last year, and he kind of was sitting. And so the Raptors will probably use him, and then they got some guy named Drew Eubanks. The Spurs pick up Goran Dragic, which I didn't even know Goran Dragic was playing for the Raptors. I thought he was still playing for the Miami Heat, but I read somewhere that they went ahead and released him though. So they did that to make the money right. And they also got the Raptors 2022 first round protected pick. Then you got to go to the Celtics. Now, the Celtics were one of the most active guys in the trade at the trade deadline. So in the first phase of the trade deadline, they picked up Daniel Tice, who used to play for them before, big Euro center, nice outside shot, plays good defense. But they get him back, and they send to the Rockets some more Laker cast-offs. Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder. Enos, I was going to say Enos Kanter, but his name is Enos Freedom. And also Bruno Ferrando, which I don't know who those guys are. Those throw-in guys. So then there was a Jazz, Trailblazers, Spurs 3-team trade where the Jazz pick up Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who used to be with the Pelicans, but got moved to the Jazz, and from the Trailblazers. You know, he got traded from the Pelicans to the Trailblazers. Now from the Trailblazers to the Jazz. Okay, and they also pick up Wandro Hernangomez. Okay, then the Trailblazers pick up Joe Ingles. I was surprised to see that the Utah Jazz traded Joe Ingles. I like Joe Ingles, Aussie, about a 6'8" wing, can shoot, play defense, tough. I think he tore his ACL about a week or two ago, and I didn't think he could trade guys that were injured, but he's with the Trailblazers now. He's gonna miss the rest of the season, so he won't play for the Trailblazers this year. Then they got Elijah Hughes. Okay, Spurs pick up Thomas Saddarasky. Now they pick him up. He was with the Jazz, which they got. With the Trailblazers, which they got in a trade with the Washington Wizards. Okay, Thomas Saddarasky, if many might not know, plays for the Czech Republic. Okay, in the Olympics. I saw him play in the Olympics in the 2020 Olympics. Thomas Saddarasky played for the Czech Republic team. Okay, he's a good player. Okay, all right. Now, then the Celtics again and the Spurs underwent a trade where the Celtics pick up point guard or swing guard Derek White, which I thought the Spurs were going to try to build around Derek White and DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson and Lonnie Walker. And I thought those were the guys with their little staples. They would just kind of flesh out the roster around those guys. But we see earlier they had got rid of Goran Dragic and got rid of Thaddeus Young and some other, and Drew Eubanks, who probably weren't playing. But the Celtics pick up Derek White to go with Daniel Tice, who they picked up in the earlier draft. So that's a couple of guys they picked up. The Spurs pick up Josh Richardson, who was playing for the Celtics, who was playing for the Sixers, who was playing for the Dallas Mavericks. He's played for a lot of things. Who was playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's he's a good player. I don't know why he's getting traded so much. He's good, no problem, no low maintenance guy, nice shot, plays good defense, nice 3-and-D guy. But Josh Richardson seemed to find himself on a different team almost every other year. I don't know why. He's like a career 10, 11, 12 point per game scorer. I don't understand that. But so now he finds himself with the Spurs. So the Spurs pick up Saddarasky, and they pick up Josh Richardson and Romeo Langford and a second round, 2022 second round, first round pick, excuse me. Okay. Then the Celtics and the Magic were in a trade where the Celtics pick up the Magic second round pick. So they gave up their first round pick to go to the Spurs to get Derek White. Then they get a second round pick for forward DJ Dozier and forward Bol, who was Manute Bol's son. Supposedly had some promise. Now he was supposed to be the next guy in Denver when Michael Porter Jr. went down, but I guess he never kind of. And so he ended up with the Celtics, and now he's with the Orlando Magic. So we'll see what goes on with there. Then so that's pretty much all. That's pretty much all of the trades, all of the major trades that went down. I think I feel like I'm missing something here. Seems like I'm missing a trade somewhere here. But I guess I'm not. That's pretty much it. So, but let's go back and examine the trade that everybody wants to talk about. Everybody wants to talk about this Philadelphia, won't call New Jersey, Brooklyn Nets trade. And here's my take on it. From and everybody knows I'm old school, so I'm all about honor, duty, respect, dignity, and do the things. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. Look, I like this. I like the Sixers, and I kind of was a sort of a I can say a closet fan of the Nets because I like Durant and I like the way their team had some firepower, but they never really got to play together. I think in all of that hoopla, they played like 16, 17 games together because all of 2021, Durant would be out, but Harden and Kyrie would play. And then as soon as Durant would play, James Harden got a hamstring, he out. So it's Durant and Kyrie. And then as soon as Harden come back, Kyrie is out. He got like a pinched nerve. He's out for a couple of games. So now it's Durant and Harden. And then as soon as Kyrie come back, Harden's out again. So they never really got any, and then when the playoffs started, Harden was hurt. Kyrie was okay until that second or third game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and he went down. I mean, his ankle flip over, man. And he wasn't going to come back and play. And Kevin Durant everybody not tell me that Kevin Durant ain't the best player in the NBA. You ain't watching. That dude almost single-handedly beat the Bucks. If he could have got his foot behind the line just a little bit further, that game don't even go to overtime. That game was over. And I remember, and he's playing the whole game. Harden is doing nothing. He's got hamstring issues. He's dribbling the ball to half court, handing the ball to Durant, and going to hide in the corner and letting Durant go 1-on-5. I think he had like 46 points, like 10 rebounds and 12 assists, some crazy numbers like that he's putting up. And if you see how Durant's built, he's not built to handle that kind of, he's not built like LeBron to be able to deal with that kind of wear and tear and stuff like that. But he was able to, he was dealing, man. But ultimately he ran out of gas. But anyhow, so it's just unfortunate with all the hoopla, with all of them coming together, because Durant left the Warriors, after he tore his Achilles in the championship in 2019, missed all of 2020, and missed a good bit of the first of 2021, I think. And then he comes back. And then when he comes back, him and Kyrie play, and then they bring in Harden. Now Harden, for all the people like Harden, was moping around in Houston because he wanted to be traded. And apparently they didn't do something he wanted them to do. But the thing I always hold against Harden is that, dude, the Houston Rockets did everything you asked them. They wanted Chris Paul. They got him Chris Paul. You wanted Russell Westbrook. They brought you Russell Westbrook. And brought you any play, Dwight Howard, all these players. And he never seemed to be able to do anything. And then in 2019, Durant goes down with a calf strain in Game 4. That was your chance to beat the Warriors if you could beat them. You didn't think Steph and Clay could carry them, and they did. And you went home. So anyhow, Harden goes to the Nets, and they're playing okay, but he's in and out. Harden really got, you got to show me something in terms of, man, taking care of your body and being a professional, because I thought he loafed his way out of Houston. So he comes to the Nets, and we have this pandemic, and then New York is on a different level when it comes to the mandates and stuff like that. So they're requiring all of the players that come, the home team that plays in the New York area, they got to be vaccinated. And Kyrie's like, I ain't gonna vax. I ain't gonna do it. I don't care what the team, not understanding. We got a finite amount of time to win the championship. I guess he felt like it wasn't worth it to do it, so he don't do it. So they come up with a rule where he can play on the road games. So he's a part-time player, making about, I don't know, $20 million a year, $25, $30 million a year, playing half the games. So they agreed to do that. And so Kyrie's in, he's out. He'll play the road game, don't play the home game. Durant's now out. He got hamstring and other things going on. So Harden, which thing about Harden is, and this is just my take, Harden is a good player. He's got a unique set of skills. Sound like my man from Taken. He's got a unique set of skills. I kind of have been critical of his game because I felt like he had a game to try to invent calls from the officials. And I think the league has gone to a way now where they don't reward you with drawing fouls like they used to. In other words, you can't drive and throw yourself into somebody and get a foul call. So that's kind of taken a whole wing of his game out of the picture. So anyway, the Nets pick up Ben Simmons, who he got some issues too because Ben Simmons has some limitations offensively. He won't shoot the ball. Let me just run down the stats here. Ben is a career like 15 point per game. Ben Simmons is at career average. He's played 275 games in his career. He's averaging 15.9 points, 8.1 rebounds, 7.7 assists. I think he's got about 15, 16 triple doubles or something like that in his career. Shoots 56% from the field and 59.7% from the line. That's a mental thing because he gets to the line and then late in games, if he's being the primary ball handler, they're gonna foul you and you can't go to the line, knock down your free throws. That was a point of emphasis when they lost in the second round to the Atlanta Hawks, team they had no business losing to. And he's one of the main reasons they lost that game in the series. He shoots about 19%, 14% from three, which is like probably three. He's probably hit 3 out of 14 maybe in his career, 3 out of 15, because he won't shoot outside the paint. Okay. So what had become evident that he was a liability on offense. Many times on offense, the team is going 4-on-5, and the guy that guards him would double up on another guy and make it hard for Embiid to score, make it hard for Seth Curry to score, make it hard for Danny Green to score, make it hard for Tobias Harris to score. Because not only do they have to beat their man, they got to beat Ben's man because Ben is standing 20 feet from the basket and everybody knows he's not going to shoot or he don't guard. So the guy that's guarding him is like right inside the paint and to help out on anybody else, So Embiid's always facing double teams. And so of course when they lost in the second round to the Hawks, a team like I said they had because the Sixers were the top seed. Now I just knew the Sixers was going to the finals, man. I'm like, yeah, because I thought they was going to beat Brooklyn. I said, yeah, it's going to be the Sixers, baby. We getting that. And late in the game, Embiid had a couple of turnovers. I got some issues with Embiid too in terms of his focus and things of that nature. He seems to be more interested in trolling people and getting the upper hand on folks than fundamentally, and he takes too many daggum threes. Get your butt down in the paint and score. You 7 foot and 290. Why are you shooting threes? Stop. I mean, you take 1 or 2 or 3 of them a game, but he'll just stand out there and, letting those Euro big men off the hook. Get in there and punish those guys, man. And then there's times he's bringing the ball up court. I'm like, I thought you had knee issues. Why are you bringing the ball up court, putting more stress on your knees? What are you doing? So anyway, I'm ranting a little bit on that. But anyway, so we get Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons had the little issue after the the Hawks lost. And, they asked Doc Rivers, can you win with Ben Simmons? And, I didn't think Doc meant anything, but he said, I don't know. Basically, said, I don't know how to answer that right now. That's what he wanted to say. But it was a humiliating, frustrating loss. And so the people around Ben Simmons took that to make it where I can't play for them because they don't believe in me. Like there's never been a coach that said that, that got after you before. And maybe that's the new way of how coaches coach players. But when I was growing up, coach called you everything but a child of God. Now get in there and play. Get your butt in there and play. Yeah, they raised their voice at you. So what? Okay, what are you going to do? Go cry? You play. So no, I wasn't for Ben because I thought Ben was making up stuff to get himself out of feeling like this dude, and that's going to start a trend. So him and Harden kind of the same ilk, because as the thing went sideways in Brooklyn, Harden was moping around and like, man, I really don't want to be here. And one of the games he had 4 points, and so and my thing is that's not a good thing to show to the kids that's up and coming, the young guys that's watching. When things don't go your way, you just pout, not play, disengage, stop playing, and force your way out and make the team trade you to another team, rather than like, look, man, let me see what I can do to make myself better. I just don't like the message that it sends. But here's what I will say: the Sixers pick up James Harden, and they pick up Paul Millsaps. Paul Millsaps is a good player. He was going to sign possibly with the Nets or with the Warriors in the offseason. He decided to sign with the Nets. But I knew the Warriors is going to be as good as they are. I think he might have second guessed that. He could have been a good player for them there, but he's with the Sixers. He's about 6'8", nice shooting, nice shot, plays some good defense, smart player. I think he'll add to the Sixers. That pick and roll with Harden, if he's deciding he want to play and he commits himself to being in shape, I got the same issue with Embiid. Him and his diet and his fitness and stuff like that. Stay in shape, take care of your body, take care of your diet, so you can play a long time. Because people don't realize when you're a professional athlete, you got a small window to play the game. Why don't you maximize everything you got for them 10, 12 years so you can be the best that you can be and not leave nothing on the table when your career is over, and look back over your career and be like, man, if I'd have really applied myself, I probably could have got 5, 6, 7 more years out of my career. Because I think Shaq thinks that about himself, because Shaq didn't take care of himself either. He would come to camp 30 pounds overweight. That's why him and Kobe never got along. Kobe working in the offseason like it's during the season. And he comes and Shaq's out of shape, all good in shape during the season. That's why he would always get hurt, miss 30 games every season, But and then see, he really, as good as Shaq, as dominant as Shaq was, in my opinion, he didn't get as much out of his career as he could have got had he committed himself to staying in shape, losing some weight, because he really didn't need to be 315, 320. 300 would have been a good weight for him, and he'd have been fine. But then the Nets pick up Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, which, I'm sorry the Sixers had to give him up, because you're going to need some outside shooting. And Seth Curry, he's not as good as not good as Big Bro, but he can fill it up when he wants to. There's one thing about it in that series against the Hawks last year. There's one person on that roster you couldn't blame, and that was Seth Curry. Seth Curry averaged about 20 points a game that series in that playoff. He was a couple of games he had over 30. So it wasn't his fault. It definitely wasn't his fault. So the Nets pick up Ben Simmons. So it's almost like the Nets and the Sixers are trading issues, trading problems. But sometimes a change of scenery, does everything for, who knows? Maybe Ben Simmons will see something, and they also pick up Andre Drummond. The Nets also pick up the Sixers 22 and the 27 first round picks. So Sixers gave up quite a bit to, in addition to Simmons, but they get James Harden back, and so who won the trade? That's the thing, and we're going to look into these lineups, and then we're going to be gone. It's hard to say, because on offense, I think the Sixers won the trade because now you got a bona fide all-star. As far as folks thinking, Harden had an off season, let me give you Harden's numbers even for this season. He was jaking it this year, in my opinion. Harden was jaking it this season, and he was still averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists if you need him. And he jaking, okay? 22, 8, and 10, okay? Now, if he engaged and want to play, that goes up to like 25, 10, and 8, 10, and 12, or whatever. Because if he scores more, it'll probably be a few less assists. So, and remember, Harden's a 4-time scoring champ, and one time averaged 37 points a game in a season. Okay, former MVP. All right, so, and who I think is the MVP this year is my man Joel Embiid, averaging like 29 and 13. Yeah, you need him. You know, so offensively, I think the Sixers win the draft because they get and so now the lineup is going to probably consist of James Harden, Matisse Thybulle, and Fords. It's going to be dadgummit. Golly, name just left me. Of course, you're gonna have Embiid and golly, I can't think of his name right now, but he's played at Tennessee. Can't think of his name. But offensively, I think they're gonna be Tobias Harris. So it's gonna be Tobias Harris, Thybulle, so they're gonna have good defenders. You got Harden. Harden not gonna play no defense, so you gotta have guys back there that play defense. He gonna handle the ball. Guys gonna have to be able to spot up. They still got Korkmaz to shoot threes, and they also got what's the kid they picked up from Utah? Was it Gergman or something like that? So that lineup is gonna be nice, so we'll see. The Nets, look, it's going to hurt them when they play at home because really right now you got no Durant and you got no Kyrie Irving. So at home, your lineup is going to be like Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris is still out probably. Drummond may be starting or, I don't know because I think offensively they're gonna hurt, man. They're gonna be hurt because you don't know what you're gonna get with Kyrie. You don't know when he's gonna be playing home game. It's all about when the New York State is gonna lift the mandates, for the vaccination. So long as that's in place, he's not gonna be able to play home games. So on the road, you're gonna have Simmons and KD when he comes back, and you'll have Seth Curry spread the floor and. Bowen and some guys like that. So you'll have some guys, and so you got some guys, but I think ultimately I think the Sixers won the trade. I know most conventional wisdom says that the Nets won it, but I'm like, but you're losing so much scoring. You're losing almost 30 points a game scoring. When he's engaged, Harden is a 25, 26 point per game scorer. You losing that, and you getting a guy that can't score, won't score, can't shoot outside of 5 feet, won't shoot outside of 5 feet, who shrinks the court down. But he plays some heckified defense though. That's one thing. 6'10", gets up and down, handles the ball. So what people are thinking that he can play the Draymond Green role for them, like he plays for the Warriors. So that's kind of the thing. So we'll see how that works. And it's gonna be interesting. But one dude made a good point that and the Nets also got what's the little Australian guy? I can't think. He and Ben Simmons are like buddies. They both had played on the Australian national team before. So that's kind of a Patty Mills. That's a plus also. So you're gonna have Patty Mills, Seth Curry. As far as shooting, you're gonna have Ben Simmons, Drummond, Durant when he comes back. So that's not a bad team. That's not a bad team. So we're gonna see. But what I think with amount of adjusting, certainly the Sixers gonna have to adjust because I'm gonna tell you just like this. They've been running that offense through Embiid for the last 3 months, and here's why he got the monster numbers he got. It's gonna be an adjustment playing with Harden. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. It's gonna be an adjustment. Now they may be better for it as after the All-Star break and towards the end of the season, but it's gonna be some growing pains. I think it's gonna be some growing pain with the Nets too, and I think who's gonna benefit from that? The Bulls and the Bucks. Well, the Bucks more primarily, and the Heat. They're going because they're together, and they didn't really make any changes for real. And so I think that's who's going to come out of the East. I would really like to see the Sixers come out of the East, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. So with the All-Star game coming up in a couple of weeks, Team Durant, Team LeBron make their picks. And I'm going to give you the rundown of the picks, and I'll tell you who I think wins it. All right, Team LeBron. His team consists of himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Jokic. Okay. And reserves are going to be Luka Doncic, who a lot of people thought probably should have started, but, you know, Andrew Wiggins was that dude this year, man. I'm sorry, man. I got to rep the Warriors, man. Andrew Wiggins was that dude this year, man. Okay. Luka Doncic is a baller though. I ain't mad. Darius Garland, dude from Vanderbilt, good success story right there. And the Cleveland Cavaliers look out. The Cleveland Cavaliers like in third place in the East. Okay, post LeBron. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. Chris Paul, which always going to be on there. Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Fred VanVleet making his first All-Star appearance. And James Harden, got to put James out. 22, 8, and 10. Come on now. Now I know he done did what he done with 22, 8, and 10. Okay. So Kevin Durant's team, of course, he's not going to be able to play. So he picks his first pick is Joel Embiid. So he's picking for himself. So that's him. So his team consists of Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum, Trae Young, and Andrew Wiggins. And I like how the teams put teams on that are supposed to be on the same teams on opposite teams. Because you see Wiggins is on Team Durant, whereas Curry is on Team LeBron. Okay. It's going to go further too. His reserves are Devin Booker. You see Devin Booker is on Team Durant, but Chris Paul is on Team LeBron. They're teammates on Phoenix. Okay. And that's kudos for the Phoenix Suns because they got the best record in the NFL. I think they're NFL. In the NBA, I think they're like 44 and like 10 or something like that. Running away with the best record, especially with the Warriors messing all over themselves the night and the night last night. I don't know what's going on with them. Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns. I think this might be his first All-Star appearance too. Zach LaVine, I think maybe making his first All-Star appearance. Maybe second. DeJounte Murray, I know this is his first All-Star appearance for the San Antonio Spurs. Chris Middleton, LaMelo Ball, and Rudy Gobert. Okay. So when I look at these teams, there's some people that's not there. Obviously, you don't see Dame Lillard because he's been hurt, and you don't see Durant, because he picked the team. He's not going to play. You don't see Bradley Beal. He's out. He's not going to play. He's not going to be there. And a bunch of other players is not there. Kyrie Irving, he's out. He's missed a whole bunch of games because whatever is going on with him. So there's a lot of guys that are perennially in this game that are not going to be there. So when I look at this team, I see a team with Giannis and Steph and Durant, and DeRozan. And so you got Harden on Team Durant, Team LeBron, and you got Embiid on Team Durant, even though they've not played together yet. They split them up. That's pretty interesting there. If I had to pick a winner, I'm gonna go with Team LeBron. I just think he picked a better team. I look at Giannis. I look at Steph. I look at Luka. Donovan Mitchell, Fred VanVleet. I think Fred VanVleet gonna show out, man, because first time Fred VanVleet been filling that thing up this year for the Raptors, man. He been really filling it up. So I'm gonna look. I look for them. But it's gonna be an interesting game. People don't like the All-Star game because they don't play no defense. I'm like, dude, ain't nobody trying to compete that hard. Because what if you get hurt? What if you go out there and turn an ankle or twist a knee or something? You miss 10, 15 games. No, ain't nobody. They're putting on a show, and it's entertainment. Threes and dunks. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be threes and dunks. It's gonna be alley-oop passes. It's gonna be lobs and dunks and fast breaks. Guys stopping 1-on-0, pulling up with the 30-foot jumper. It's gonna be a lot of that. Now, if you don't like that, that's fine. It's just comical to me to see the guys and the camaraderie with the guys and stuff. That's what I look for. So anyway, that's all I got today from the desk of Uncle Fred. My first NBA video. With the blockbuster trade, Sixers get James Harden, Nets get Ben Simmons. Trading problems. Both guys really kind of, not kind of what you want, but maybe a change of scenery, do them good. We'll see how this goes. I definitely must tune in to watch. And we'll be watching Saturday with the Warriors and the Lakers. Let's go Warriors. Whoever wins will stop a 2-game losing streak. But I guarantee you this: all these people that knock the Warriors, check out, especially with this game Saturday. Check the ratings out when the Warriors play. Just check out the ratings, because when the Warriors is on and the Lakers, even though the Lakers are ASS this year because they 26-30. Lakers get ratings. Warriors get ratings. People like to watch them. Okay, so that's what's up. That's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. That's all I got now. We good. Y'all have a good one.